Now, late in the year 1963, when they started thinking about making the Kennedy half dollar, they were kind of in a rush. They made a beautiful coin design and they put him into production. Unfortunately, First Lady did not like the design. Kennedy's hair looked messy to her and she wanted it redone. Unfortunately, a few coins were put out into the public, and we have what is now known, not the messy hair Kennedy, but the accented hair. I have a high grade 67, folks. Wait till you hear the numbers on this. Wait till you hear the numbers. Now, these were only made available in proof sets. This is the year 1964 proof set, 90% silver, and they only made about 3.9 million proof sets that year. Because of the accented hair variety, now we're going to show you a graphic very soon on what that looks like. It's like a wishbone shape above his ear. Jackie Kennedy thought that that looked messy. She wanted it redone and to make his hair look neater, right? So now we have this variety that is just so rare. Now, in grade 67 and higher, out of that 3.9 million made, there are 65,298 coins in 67 or better. Now, the numbers low to begin with because if we recall in 1964, those proof sets were only poly packs. They weren't those hard plastic lenses we started seeing in the year 1968. So the coins moved around inside the poly pack, and up until today, 50, 60 years later, we do not have high grades to begin with. But in this variety with the accented hair, the early release coins, the coins that were made first, there are under 10,000 known. There are only 9,492 known to exist in 67 or better with the accented hair. Now, we give you that or better to give you the total population of grade 67 and higher to give you a good idea of how many are out there with that accented hair. That is a low, low number. And at $199.95, our competition is almost $250 for this same coin, the 1964 accented hair in 67. So this is something that for a first year of issue, everybody always remembers a first. So it's not just a first year of issue, it's the first of the first. It's the coins that were pushed into production in a rush because the late unfortunate events, his assassination, they wanted to bring out a coin quickly to honor President Kennedy. And when they pushed it through and then they showed the First Lady, Jackie Kennedy, she was like, no, I don't like the way it looks. So you'll see the difference right there on the screen. We'll include this graphic with your purchase. The normal hair, which is what they replaced it with, versus the accented hair, the quote unquote messy hair. It's a great story. We're looking at 60 plus years, the 60th anniversary of the Kennedy half dollar series, first released in the year 1964. It is the only 90% silver that was put into a proof set, a regular issue proof set, is this one here, the 1964. And once again, if you recall those proof sets, they were a poly pack and they were put in an envelope. Each coin had its own little area designated for itself, and it moved around inside that little air pocket. Proof sets were moved around, they were shipped, they were stored, and that affected the grades. Franklin's, same way. That's why we don't find very many high-grade Franklins. 64 Kennedy, same thing. They didn't change to a plastic lens until the year 1968, where we started seeing the modern issue proof sets. Coins were in a hard lens, and they didn't move around. They were put into a card, and they were kind of protected better by the packaging. This one here, only 9,492 are known. And we all know population matters. And when I say population, that is the census report number. That is how many are known to exist. It's free information. You could go to NGC's website and you could look up the 1964 Kennedy proof 67 and look at the varieties. And you'll see there under 10,000 are known to exist with the accented hair in 67 or better. Population matters. Rarity matters. Why? Because there's a lot of Kennedy collectors out there in the world, and only 9,400 and change are able to own one of these. And that's in the world, right? It's a very popular collectible series, the Kennedy half dollar, 60 years strong. But in 64, and you're talking about almost 4 million proof sets made, and you're talking about a coin that in the 80s when silver went through the roof, I think it was about $50 per ounce, these got melted as well because NGC wasn't open yet, of course, certification wasn't a thing. So in that silver rush, coins were melted. People were melting these. They melted everything silver. Fast forward 60 years, we look back and we find these 64 accented hairs are special, under 10,000 known. Compare that to just a regular 67, where there are 65,298. This is a fraction of that. 65,298 Kennedys in 67 or better proof, compared to only 9,492 in accented hair variety. And there's that accented hair there on the right. You could see the difference in the hairlines between the accented hair and what they changed it to make his hair look neater, i.e. less messy. And First Lady Jackie Kennedy was happy with the revision. Let's put a 1-minute clock up, folks. I only have a handful left of these. We don't get many in at a time. They're difficult to find, especially with low populations, especially with our great price. They usually fly out pretty fast. Our competition's, like I referenced, about $250. So join us, folks. Now, if you are shopping via the web, which is avccoins.com, you'll want to enter 905-7970 into the search bar. That'll bring you to this page, enter your quantity, and press the checkout process button and go through the whole process of the checkout. Of course, you could always scan that QR code right on the page. It brings you right to that exact page, so the QR code on your screen. But it's an easy way to order via the web. But we love talking to you. Give us a call anytime throughout the show. But if you shop outside of the show times, 24/7, that's avccoins.com. Once again, 905-7970 is the item number. And you're saving $50 off the closest competitor price for a very, very special collectible coin in the Kennedy series.